Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by BlackRifleCoffee.com.
Whoa! Hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
Welcome to Drinkin Bros, a special episode.
Very special.
Very, very special. Two very, very special guests in town.
It's like short bus special? Or
In Salt Lake.
couple more of these and we'll get there.
Yeah. That's what we're doing tonight. We're gonna get short bus tonight.
Today's my last night drinking on
Perfect.
post-ons.
And we will we're gonna
Yeah.
celebrate it correctly.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen,
If I don't get pregnant, I don't know.
we have Mr. Danny Warsnop from Asking Alexandria in town. They are starting their pre-show over the next couple days and then kicking off the
Couple
tour
production days. Yeah.
on Wednesday. So
Yeah.
they will be coming to a town near you.
I'll be coming into town near you.
You better already have tickets. If not, they're available now.
They are available.
Asking Alexandria, just Google that.
Yeah, .com.
Tickets comes right up.
Yeah, get them before there aren't any.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. They are selling out fast.
Don't make me buy them all, so our shows look good.
We have Mr. Mike Milioni.
Yeah.
Who's also been close to you guys, works with the band.
Worked with Harlot.
Yeah.
Now we work together on various other things.
Business.
He's retiring from the touring world,
Yeah.
which is lucky.
But you're not retired yet because you still said you got more tour to do this year.
I do, yeah. I got one more, probably my farewell tour. Yeah, sorry about that. Probably farewell tour here out with Theory of a Dead Man.
Oh, nice.
Nice little pitch there. So come see us on that tour as well.
Yeah, listen, Drinkin Bros. Asking Alexandria is a Drinkin Bros certified band. So
That's right.
It was only a matter of time.
I can't believe it hasn't happened sooner.
I know.
that is really funny. It's weird. So let's dive in. Let's dive into the history first of you guys, and then we'll get in later to how the fuck we all ended up here in cross paths. So I got to hear that story the first night we met when you were telling me, and it was just so
And you
awesome.
got the abbreviated version.
Yeah.
Yes. So
The-
now,
so you got
now
good.
we get to go.
They're like we're in a room full of people, like we're trying to entertain. Yeah, like
Not talk too long.
Let me tell the story real quick because also
Cliff
friends-
notes.
Yeah.
Cliff notes.
So basically, what happened was there's a bits of this story that people don't even know. This is gonna be the first time for some people even hearing bits of the story.
So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to my life. This is your life.
Exactly.
So when I was in college in England, had been talking to this lady on the interweb. It was when MySpace was a thing. And I've been talking to her, and then she went to university in England. And, we were talking, like, essentially dating. Like, we were in that kind of love.
You're
that
what,
17-year-olds
18, 17?
I was 16. I started college at 16.
Okay.
I graduated early, and I was homeless, living under a bench in a train station to put myself through college.
Really?
Yeah, and I was talking to this chick, and then she goes back to America, and I get an email from this Benjamin Bruce guy, and he's like, hey, I'm doing this band. Wondered if you want to come play it. Like he'd seen something on YouTube. Or
exactly how he talks, by the way.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, I'm band.
You had something on YouTube?
Yeah.
I'd like of you playing guitar? Or?
I don't even know what it was. I couldn't tell you. You'd have to ask him. He probably doesn't even remember at this point as well. This is many a moon ago. And the plan that he put forward to me is like, listen, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go over to America. And we're gonna start in America. So in my head, I'm like, sweet, I can go continue being with this chick. Dope. People don't know that's actually why I joined the band. But it is. And it lasted all of about no time at all. So over the next couple of months, I'd moved across the country to move in with this guy I'd never met before and start this band.
Now, where are we still in England here?
Yes, this is still in England.
So you moved across the UK.
Across the UK. So about 7 miles or however big it is.
Just a quick jog.
Yeah. So I walked over to his house halfway across the country, and we start writing songs, and we initially hired this guy Chase to be the singer, and he was American, and he flew over. He didn't have any documentation or anything. He landed, was instantly turned around. They gave him 12 hours, and this is back before so many horrible things happened in airports and things. They let him out of the airport and was like, you better be back here in 12 hours or we're going to come get you. Like, he could have just stayed. But, he comes over 12 hours, we get drunk, he leaves, and he's not allowed in England anymore because he came in illegally. So we're like, oh, shit, we've got to find a singer. I was the guitarist. I was the guitarist. I didn't mention that.
Little part.
Yeah.
That's why they had a different singer.
Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
So I started contacting these guys, and there was a guy I was in college with who had a band, and their drummer was really good. So we went down to the show and flat out stole him, just right there. And we told him we had management lined up. We had a tour with a day to remember. We had a label ready to go. None of this
We're
is true.
massive rock stars.
None
You
of it
just
is
said,
true.
hey, we're touring with Day to Remember.
Yeah, no, we told him like we had all this shit lined up, like it was good to go. And he leaves his
They're
band.
a big deal in the UK, you know?
He drops out of university, and he's ready to move across the world with us. We end up snatching the bass player from that band as well, who didn't last long. He's mental. We love the guy, but he's mental, and he'd like go crazy, he's smashing cars and stuff. He's Travis. You don't want to be in a band with Travis. No. Because 24 hours, like for like a day, that's like 24 hours, 7 days a week. It's intense.
Yeah.
So Ben and I'd written all these songs. We'd have a singer. So we're like, shit, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a studio. We'll record one, and we'll patch together bits and pieces of like whatever we can do, so that the singers know what they're supposed to sing. And I go in to do the first vocal pass, and I do the song, and I walk out, and Ben stood there, and he's like, "You're fired." I was like, "What?" He's like, "You're the singer, dude. You're the singer." And Cameron, who is the guy I knew in college, who I stole all his band members, who was super pissed at me because I'd literally torn his band apart, happened to be there, and we were like, "You want to play guitar?" And then a month and a half later, we flew to America. We had no idea.
Did you have anything recorded at this point?
Kind of.
Okay.
Kind of. We had that one demo that I'd sung on that got me to be the singer. So we flew over, and that's on MySpace. And it's
And
it's
you're
starting to blow up.
17, 18?
17. I was 17.
Okay.
It was September 1st. Because I remember my birthday, September 4th, and it was like a holiday. So we literally got into this new place, and we're like, this is going to be so good, we're going to celebrate. We knew nothing about, we'd never been to America before. So we flew into New Jersey. We're like, we're going to live there. Yeah.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Fuck it. New Jersey.
I'd apologize to any people from Jersey watching, but you guys know. So, obviously, we're still broke. Ben and I managed to get enough money together to buy this piece of shit RV. Barely even moved. And we lived in a Walmart parking lot in Princeton, New Jersey, in this thing for 6 months.
Wow.
And we'd walk
and
up.
that was 5 of you?
Yeah. Yeah, 5 gross, sweaty fucking teenagers.
Oh,
So
man.
there's like tissue stuck to the wall, and
You don't want to know.
we don't have to go details, but
don't wanna
it
know.
was 5 gross teenagers. And we'd walk like half a mile every day to the Starbucks so we could get Wi-Fi and update stuff and do social media shit. And 6 months in, and we get just all these emails, like 11, 12 emails from record labels, being like, "We'd like to hear more."
And what were you pushing at that point?
We'd
demo?
been emailing all of these people, telling them that we are big in Europe, that we
Massive.
that we play all these shows. Could Bring Me the Horizon had just broken here,
and
and
you-
everyone wanted the next British band. They thought it was the British invasion all over again, which it was.
So you had the name at that point.
Yes.
Where did you guys come up with that name?
Ben had that before I even showed up?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
and
Does he have anything behind it?
No. We've come up with a million stories over the years, but they've
There
all been
might be.
lies. They've all been lies. Everything we've ever done. And yeah,
Keep the
we get all
mystery
these
alive,
emails.
Danny.
So we've been there is a story, and I shall not say.
Yes.
If I told you, I'd have to kill you.
Well, I mean, it's got to be like a grade school girl that you like.
Maybe
you know.
Maybe
I'm gonna ask her out.
maybe there's like some secret baby mama friends we
That's
don't
good.
know
I like
about.
that.
But yeah, we get all these emails, and at that point, like, part of us is like excited, and then the other bit is like, none of these things are true.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We've been telling these
How are we
people.
gonna prove this?
Yeah.
But this is the age, though. That time frame, it wasn't so accessible.
It wasn't
internet
accessible
wasn't
at
like
all.
it is now.
Exactly.
Where you go,
Accessible
wait,
at
no,
all.
I looked you up and you're not big.
Yeah, it was
Like,
it was impossible.
People are just like, oh, Europe? Wow, fuck yeah.
Because they saw we had a MySpace page that had a lot of people on it. I was one of those like MySpace celebrity people. So like, we had a whole bunch of people following it. So
Looks
like
legit.
looking at the numbers, it makes sense.
I remember MySpace, like, when I got 200 friends, I thought I was like, I have 200.
Oh, no, I was like
Dude,
two-
you
I was
were
like-
balling back
Yeah.
then.
I was like
That
200 or
was the thing.
300,000. Like it was like the real
fuck.
like it
Real
was the
deal.
thing. So the numbers on the band page would like they looked like
People
okay,
were like,
yeah,
whoa.
that would make sense that this band is big because they
Yeah.
can't see where these people are from.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this has like thousands of views on this song. Okay, yeah, maybe they're big in Europe, and that like everyone wanted that next big British band. Like if
Well,
Bring Me the
Horizon is
if Bring Me-
British.
yeah,
I never knew that.
Oh, yeah.
you know,
I never.
they're
knew
like
that.
so English.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a whole thing.
they. So if they're the Beatles, people were looking for the Rolling Stones,
Yeah.
and they were like, this is them, which it turned out to be. But at the time, no one knew. So like, we were talking to all these labels. I remember I was calling Rise all the time, and there was a brief period where, like, we're talking to these labels, and then I get a phone call from the band The Word Alive. Now, I was always a big fan of Craig Mabbitt.
Yeah.
With
Great guy.
yeah, very, very, very great guy. And that's how I got in touch with the band. And then they called me, and they were like, listen, it's not working out with Craig. Do you want to come be our singer? And in my head, I'm like, okay, so I can sit and wait around and hope one of these label things work out, or go to this signed band. So they fly me out to Arizona, and I'm trying out. It ended up not being a thing. They're still very dear friends to this day, but it ended up not being a thing. I come back. The Asking guys only found out about this like 4 years ago. The whole time they didn't know. They nearly crashed and burned before we even got going. So we end up signing with Sumerian, and they're like, all right, we're gonna put you in the studio in a month. We got you in with Joey Sturgis. We're gonna record the record. Because we told people we had an album's worth of music. We didn't.
Oh
We
god.
Did not.
We had 3 songs at best. We never played in the same room as each other.
Oh my god, this is
Like
so good.
legit, never played in the same room.
It's amazing. I think we glanced over the fact that you're like the original people of Walmart
Yeah.
living in a van.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
We are like, I think if you go to like post 1 of people of Walmart.com, like it's just pictures of us. So yeah, we threw together this album. We were like writing it on the fly. I had no idea what we were doing. I'd sung for the first time like a few months before,
Holy shit.
and
Did you try screaming at that point too?
well, the first song we wrote was Final Episode.
Really?
That was the one that I did did the thing on, and
Did you had
I
any
bu-
idea that you could do that with
I
your
had
voice?
no idea at all.
You
And I
just fucking
was
went for it.
blowing my voice out like every other day. Like it took so long to track it because it'd be like, all right, I sing, and then I need 3 days off
Yeah.
just to bounce, just because I was
blow
blowing
out
my
the
voice out.
vocal cords.
So I had no idea what I was doing, and I didn't learn for years and years. And from there, we went on tour the day after we finished recording.
Wow.
The same day we finished, we started driving and started touring Ohio. That tour lasted 3 years long. We started out.
Was that straight into a bus?
No. We were in that piece of shit RV.
Oh yeah. You toured in that.
Yeah.
What
Nice.
was your first show?
The first show was at Peabody's in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus or Cleveland?
And who were you opening for?
A Static Lullaby. You remember them?
No.
I don't
Dude, it
remember
was-
that either. Did you say good?
No.
Oh, I thought you said good.
They were like, it was around the same time as like Silverstein
Yeah.
and that stuff. They were one of those.
Mm.
So I remember them, and then it was Vanna, and then us somehow because of the lies, because of all the lies. Then Motionless in White, and then a band called Broadway, which is now Jack from Sleep with Sirens.
Oh,
So my first ever tours with him.
really?
Yeah, and then from there, that tour was our tour was 3 years long, and we went from that to like that being like essentially our first show. 3 years later, we're headlining 5,000 people, and we've been on Jimmy Kimmel, and it was wild.
What was your first set like? So your first show, like what were you guys playing?
We were playing.
Was that all stand up and scream?
Yeah, we were playing like 6, maybe 7 songs. It was Final Episode. It was
A Prophecy.
a single moment necessary. No, Prophecy wasn't
No,
in. I don't think.
no.
Yet. And then it was If You Can't Ride 2 Horses at Once. It was When Every Day's the Weekend, which I don't think we've ever played outside of that tour. A Candlelit Dinner with an Immortal, which again never been played since that tour, and the intro Alarion, and there was something else. I can't place what, but that was it. And we crammed in, and because all the other guys on the tour were older guys, they'd see these young, energetic, like 17, 18-year-old kids who like these young fans are going crazy over, and they literally challenge us to just outdo ourselves. Like we're jumping in the crowd, we're throwing stuff, we're like it was getting stupid. And like they were challenging us stuff with like, all right, we want to see you drink 2 bottles of vodka on stage tonight. And like, we're playing 35-minute sets.
Yeah.
And it got so out of hand. I remember there was one in Denver, Colorado, and they were looking for me. The intro's starting, the guys are on stage. I'm nowhere to be seen. The security kicks open the dressing room bathroom, and I'm there like fucking some chick in the bathroom, and he literally goes down, he withdraws me from the woman, puts my boner in my pants, belts me up, and throws me on the stage. And that's how it was back then.
Got a little out of hand.
That's a
Little
rock
in his
star
hand.
story right
It got
there.
a little in his hand.
That's a rock star story right there.
I mean, but that's how it was back then. It was like
You have a special relationship with Denver, too.
a lot has happened in Denver.
Well, you have a new song on the new album.
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, the whole Denver airport thing.
Under
is like-
Denver.
Denver Airport.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
The first fist fight the band ever got in with people was in Denver. That was great.
Like, as a band, you guys had
Well,
to
I didn't. I was
fight?
having sex with a woman. Sam flat out headbutted a guy in the street. His arms out wide, like full on movie style, fall back, right in front of a cop. But the cop saw that this kid was being a dickhead to begin with.
Yeah.
So he like just nodded at us and drove off. But yeah, a lot's happened.
I mean,
in
that's
Denver's
the best
been a big-
situation that can
Denver's
happen
been a big
in that.
start, but a lot of firsts for us. I think my first accidental anal was in Denver too. Not
Ooh,
not
the
my
old-
butt, not my butthole.
The accidental. Yeah, the accidental anal. You got to watch out for that. So you guys finished a 3-year tour off of Stand Up and Scream.
Well, and Reckless Relentless was within that.
Oh, really?
We wrote that while driving, and we took like 2 weeks.
No
I
kidding.
wrote the first half, and then I had a bunch of shit. I lost a daughter during that time, so I left the studio halfway through
ouch.
and disappeared. And then we're back in the studio recording, and then back on the road again. Then finished up doing Jimmy Kimmel, and then we're back in the studio doing From Death to Destiny.
Really?
We were only
As soon as-
taking like at most week breaks. We were playing like
Touring pretty hard.
And
well
is
over
that,
300
now
shows
is
a
that
year.
because all of you are on the same page so well? Of like,
No,
we're
absolutely not.
No?
It was that we were bringing in so much money, and it was just constant growth that the suits behind it all were just smelling money. They were smelling paychecks, and they would not let us take breaks. If we
Really?
wanted to take a break, they'd be like, "Your career is dead. If you take time off, you are done." And they would scare us into staying on the road.
Yeah,
It's like,
but
I'm going
that's pretty for you guys at that age though to really buck up. I mean, we're not seeing that now.
no. I'm like 4 months a year. I'm good.
Yeah.
But no, I mean back then it's like we were so. This is all we've known. The last thing before this is we were broken homeless.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for them
So
to
just-
scare us because we're getting paychecks. Like, we're getting real fucking money.
Yeah.
And what we don't know is that like there's obviously a bunch going missing, but we don't know that because we're A, overworked, and B, stupid. Like we were naive, and we were just happy to
Well, you were
begin this money.
children at that point. So
Yeah,
it's
children.
Yeah.
Still,
Like,
Children, and like
That's
I'm like,
understandable.
we're dealing with overdoses, deaths in family. I lost a daughter. We're going through all this shit, and the whole time, like,
And at
we
the
are
same
not
time,
allowed to deal with it.
rising in fame.
Yeah, we're not allowed-
rising in popularity.
We-
being
can't stop
fucking
that
milked.
train.
Flat
for-
out. I've had people on our former team fly people out to come deliver drugs to my face just so I go on stage. Because it's like I'm breaking down, being like, I can't fucking do this. No,
Gotta
we
keep the
we
cash
have
cow
to stop.
going.
And they come out and they're just pumping cocaine into my face so that I keep going. It's like all this. It's like it's the most cliche story on the planet, but like we were living it, and it was awful because it just destroys you on the because
Yeah,
all the
you and
people
I
that you're
got into this a
supposed to
little bit
trust-
when we were in Arizona. So those of you guys that might not know is Danny and Mike came out to the big stunt that we did with Nitro Circus, and actually Danny played a vital role in that. We still can't disclose what went down out there, but it was really cool because we
was the
randomly
amazing.
stumbled
The
onto
blowjob
you guys
check- the
the
I
blowjob
night
feel like we
before.
need to turn that back to kind of explain how we got to that point.
Okay, yeah,
Because we haven't even explained how we crossed
Yeah.
paths yet.
Well,
Yeah.
then I ended up leaving Asking Alexandria for 3 years, in which time I was touring with Harlot, and Mikey was a guitar technician.
Yep.
And it was at first an incredible environment, and just over time.
Were you playing guitar as well, or just?
No,
singing?
I was just singing.
Okay.
Just singing. The guitar player in that band is a phenomenal musician. So it's, I mean, he can play for 3 people by himself. But I mean, over time, just the environment in it became toxic, and it's not particularly a single person's fault, but just the way it was, and it didn't work out.
Well, it was another one where you were getting pushed hard again. You guys were touring super hard.
Really hard. And but at that
'Cause
point,
you
it's
guys,
like
your first tour was
yeah.
like what, 6 months long or something?
but we weren't even getting paid on those. So it's
Yeah.
it's like we were touring so hard just to even stay afloat. We're just trying to keep our heads above water.
Yeah.
And
It's a lot of work.
Yeah, and I mean, I pumped, I mean, at least 150,000 into the band just to get up and running. Then all of a sudden, the label come in, and they don't fucking care about that. They want their money, and they want it now, and they'll just drill us into the ground to get it any way they can. But yeah, that's how Mike and I met, and then he ended up leaving, and maybe a couple months later, the band stopped touring, and then we stayed in touch and
Started some business dealings that are still rolling.
doing business.
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah.
thing.
So it was an instant connection, obviously.
Yeah, you know,
You guys
we saw
got it.
rainbows and butterflies, and
I like long walks
it
on
was
the
just
beach.
like
He
the
likes
movies show it.
Yeah, I like
Slow
long walks
motion.
on the beach. He likes watching the waves crash against the sand.
I mean,
Yeah.
it just works. Again
It's
and
right
yang.
there.
But yeah, and
Yeah.
but it's crazy because it's all chance encounter. You know, when we
Yeah.
ended up, Danny moved out to Phoenix, and
I moved out to Phoenix 2 days before we met.
yep,
Jesus.
I'd literally
2
just
days.
drive there, and we got to
But that was
mutual
2.5
friend.
weeks before we first talked.
yeah,
And that, again,
which was
if
which,
you go
which was
back,
6 days after I'd ordered my first clothes from you.
it's crazy how this world
I
works.
ordered clothes. Then TJ Lavin hit me up. He's like, "Dude, you gotta link up with these guys." And then he's like, "Oh, I wish I'd known this $200 ago."
Yeah, right? Well, it's all crazy too because I had just hit Danny up about that show that we met you at,
Yep.
and I
Sleeping
said, "Hey,
Sirens.
they're in town. Let's roll." And he's like, "All right, let's do it." And
well,
so that's how we
yeah,
ended up
that
down
was
there.
yeah. So we'll back up with this.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
We'll back up to gearing up for Freedom Fest when we did the All That Remains headlining show. As we were kind of going through who we wanted to play, Matt had told me then, well, my favorite band of all time is Asking Alexandria. That's kind of what first got me introduced to it, because I had tried to find you guys one way or another, going through, you know, the channels I didn't even have at that time because I had nothing in music, and we had just finished the movie. So I was using movie agents and stuff like that to try and find friends of friends that knew people, and
Doing
ended
the whole
up-
networking
yeah,
thing, man.
yeah.
on you.
Wasn't able to get a hold of you guys for whatever reason, and then we finally got back with All That Remains and locked them in. So then, fast forward, you know, my ex-wife is a big Asking Alexandria fan, always listening to it, and she finally hit me up when my 4-year-old Charlotte was just addicted to it, and then she was the one that had shot me a message while I was at Travis's house that was like, they're coming here in January. Let's see if let's get tickets to the show and let's take Charlotte. So she sends me all these video clips of Charlotte listening to all the different albums, like, and knowing some of the words and screaming along with it. And then just a 4-year-old raging her head to death metal in her car seat.
There it is.
And it was really funny. Like, so I cut it all together and I put it online on Instagram, and I'd called Phil. I asked if he had a connection to you guys. He's like, oh, I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, I didn't
So
think I
he had commented on the video, and then pretty much everybody started like chiming in, and that's when Lavin was like, he hit me up and he was like, no, I have a connection to Danny. Here, give me a second. And then boom, I get the email from you.
Yeah.
And the email contained a photo of his closet with all of our shirts. And
that
I'm
you
like,
had
wait a
just
minute.
purchased. Fancy that.
I'll
This
be
is weird.
I'll be telling, like, usually when I'm ordering stuff, especially online, I put it like under one of the company's names and all that. But like, so, like if it's like something I really like and it's like, I already know I'm gonna buy more of this crap. Like, I'll put like my name, like just because the ego inside of me.
hoping somebody goes,
he's like-
wait a
he's
minute.
like, once someone's gotta recognize my name. I'm a celebrity.
People know me. I smell of mahogany.
I mean, easily had we still been the ones doing this stuff day to day,
Yeah.
we would have caught it.
No, but I mean, I figure, but it's always just one of those long shot things. Like if I order something from Apple, I'll put my name on there because, like, I don't know.
You never know.
never know
You
who's
never
gonna
know.
see that.
You never know. I know they're not gonna recognize like RBA. They don't know what that is. They don't know what that is. Like unless they're out like painting things and building sculptures, they don't know or care what it is. So, yeah, I put the name in Hobbs, but then you ended up reaching out to me.
So
and
I
it
was literally
serendipity.
sitting at Travis's bar. I had just flew in that we had just drove in that morning because we were in Virginia for meetings. So I had told Travis, I was like, I got to go work for a little bit, and freaking open my laptop, got that first email from you going back and forth. I'm like, what shit? Like, we're part of that too. We're part of this. We're part of this. We started going back and forth. And then it was like, okay, you know, you were like, well, as soon as I'm in town, we'll get together. So fast forward then to we all go to Arizona for this big stunt.
Wait, did you know that? You didn't know at this time that he's in Arizona?
No,
Okay.
not at all.
I
So-
we kind of talked about this
So-
too, and we're like,
so
this is kind of crazy.
So here's another funny thing too, is if you go back and look at this, the day he lost his phone was the day I sent him an Instagram message that said, do you know anybody from Sleeping with Sirens? Because the boys really want to go to the concert. And I asked Five Finger Death Punch, I asked ATR, I asked Breaking Ben, like, does anybody know Sleeping with Sirens? They're like, oh, no, we don't know anybody over there. So it was like, and even like the management at Five Finger were like, bro, we don't know how to get a hold of these
I didn't
guys.
know that they were that hard to get a hold of.
Well, it's because they're two very different worlds.
Yeah, I
like
know.
I've had the beauty of I live in both worlds.
Right.
So like I can, like, you go to Five Finger and it's like, but yeah, we can call Danny.
Yeah.
And you go to Steam Sirens, like, yeah, they can call Danny. They can't call each other. They don't fucking know each other. Like
Yeah,
one of
well,
them,
yeah.
one of them's like men, like manly men.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are not.
They're not.
So
Yeah, and then the other one's a Five Finger.
yeah. So
Just kidding, don't beat me up.
So yeah, couldn't get anything, and then finally, I was going deep down the rabbit hole because I had heard, like I had pulled out of my head one of my ex-girlfriends had said she's currently dating a guy that just toured with them. So like I called her, was like, does he still know any of them?
Digging
Can you
deep.
get a hold of him? Like, listen, all the Nitro guys are down there. Everybody wants to go to the we've got to make this connection.
Got to
Like,
make it happen.
like, and she was a dead end, and then I finally hit up one of my favorite bands. Also, is Assuming We Survive out of California, and he was their tour manager is the drummer for Ronnie Radke.
Okay.
So he's like, oh yeah, I know them. Let me give them a call, and they connected me with Ron, their TM.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Ron was like, fuck, every one of these guys loves Travis and all of Nitro. Like,
Not a
yes,
problem.
They are excited. You're in.
Yeah.
So we got everybody there miraculously because, I mean, we went late filming that day, and it was like, we kept like, kind of like, hey, if we're going to get to this show,
Yeah.
we got to be here by
Gotta
this
go.
time. And we showed up probably 2 songs into Sleeping with Sirens set, got to see the whole thing, and then we went down and started partying with them on the bus, and me and Travis were going hard. I was already hammered, and all of a sudden I turn around and there's
this
Danny with the golden
you gotta
retriever.
hear it from,
All of a
now you
sudden,
get to see it. The camera switched to our side.
The door opens, like the door
Well,
opens. They're
should
all
we
inside.
take that back a little bit? Because that's a little funny of our entrance into that.
Yeah. So,
We had a fun little bit because, like you said, his phone's down at this time.
Yeah.
So I can't call anyone. They don't know I'm in town. I know they're in town. Well, no. Thing is, they did know I was in town.
Well-
Because when I was in Dallas, the day I lost their phone, they had a fucking show there too. And that's the day I lost my phone.
Yeah.
And
So they knew that you had lost your phone.
Yeah, they knew I lost my phone, and I'd literally I'd Twitter DM.
So apparently-
Helen, and I was like, yo, hit me up on here, because they knew I was going to Phoenix,
Yeah.
and I knew they'd be there, and they knew I was going to be there. I was like, fucking message me on here. I
Yeah.
don't have my
I don't have
phone.
a phone.
But it's
I'm coming.
It's funny though because I guess they are a little bit hard to get into because I
Yeah.
was going to talk with them. I know their friend Cameron Mizell that has produced stuff for Kellen. And so I was hitting him up, and that was a dead end for us. So we're like,
Yep.
what is going on in the world?
They
Why?
also have to get
what's,
out of
what's
it,
happening?
yeah.
All that fun stuff.
Well, not now. Now.
Well, no. So we finally get in touch with them. They're like yeah. We'll have you passes up front. So go to front. Like the radio station people who were supposed to have them, they'd left.
Yeah.
So we got
And did not leave our tickets.
we got a
with
will
anyone.
call. They didn't leave the tickets with anyone. It's like we're
So
literally
now we're just
hanging
two dummies.
at the security gate. Just
Looking like super fans.
yep, just with the dogs. Hey, can you let us in? I really
Hey,
want
let
to
us
meet
talk
the
to the
band.
singer.
and
We know him. We promise.
Yeah. Just big tattooed bearded guys being like,
We know him.
We promise we won't beat him up. And
Yeah, but I've definitely been in that situation too. Like when
It's so
when
awkward.
Breaking Ben came, they were like, "Meet us at the bus."
Yeah.
Like
It never
And then
But you
and
can't
then
get
we
to the
meet.
bus.
Yeah,
It
we
never
meet at the
works.
bus, and the security guy's like, "We're friends of these guys. Like they're
Yeah.
expecting us." They're like, "Yeah, right."
Yep.
And then another guy, they're like, supposedly they're with the band, and then. Of course, the band comes out. They're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Why didn't you just come in?" And I'm looking at the security guard, like, "See, like, I'm not a dick."
the band
It gets better.
The band didn't come out. So there's this one security guard. He's kind of talking to us, and he wanted us. And he's like, we
Danny
need to wait
Parsnip?
we need to wait like outside the fence. And he's like, what's your name? I'm like in my head, I'm like, why does that fucking matter? I'm like, Danny Warsnop. Just tell him Danny's here. Like, didn't know exactly what you're talking about. He goes back and he didn't even go and talk
He
to anyone.
doesn't even go
He just
talk.
goes and like
'Cause
talks to
it's
like the
the-
other
oh, yeah,
security guards,
right, uh-huh.
And he's sat like, and then he comes back like, beat red.
Super red.
Be ready. He's like,
He is very
I just
embarrassed.
googled you and
He's like, I've never been able to verify somebody by Google. That was interesting. I mean, this guy wants to crawl in the hole and die right now.
no, it's
No,
great.
I had that happen to me at the movie premiere for
Yeah.
Not a War Story. I go up on the red carpet, and I walk up to whatever the girl is that's sitting there, and she has all the passes, and I'm like, "Hey, could I just get one of those all access?" She's like, "What's
Yeah.
your name?" And I'm like looking at the poster, and I'm like, Jared Taylor,"
That
and
one.
she's flipping through a list. She goes, "You're not on this list. I'm sorry." I go, "Yeah, but this is my movie."
It's like, I'm on that one.
and then I'm like
beg to
pointing.
differ.
I'm like pointing to the poster, and I'm like, this I made this, and then our publicist comes running over and goes, "Oh my God, give him the goddamn pass!" Like,
I've definitely had my fair share. It's a little awkward when you're trying to get in with the Wu-Tang guys, and people are like, yeah.
You're white
crazy
and bearded,
guy.
Of course you are, white
Of
dude.
course. I'm like, no, Red just got off the phone with me. I'm sure he did.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we go on the bus and we hang out. I like didn't know you were gonna be there. I'm wearing.
We literally
Fuck
just
your
go
se-
sit. We
fuck your
sit
sen-
right next to you and
Yep.
Yes.
Wearing the
Like,
fuck your sensitivity
on
shirt.
the couch.
Turn around, like, because again, I remember I was up getting a drink, and I turned around and saw you, and it took a second, and I'm like, "Wait, what the fuck are you doing here?"
The universe is weird, dude. and it is like it's crazy that we haven't met someone before. We have so many mutual friends that we've learned
Yeah.
afterwards.
I mean, we were all gonna eventually collide anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well, now that we did, like, it hasn't stopped.
it's gonna get really
We're
weird.
stuck with each other now.
Our fucking group texts are
No,
so entertaining.
We have a little drinking group text with Trevor Pastrami.
Trevor Pastranowicz.
Yeah.
Tony Petoni.
And yeah, it gets weird. It gets a little weird.
But you know what was funny is he talked about that after, because I think you're the first one, like, when he's always like, "Well, come to the house. You got to backflip a bike," and you're like, "Well, I'll do it twice. I'll do 2 backflips. I'll do a backflip 3. I'll do a double backflip 360. I'll duct tape 2 Harley Davidson motorcycles together and do a double backflip." And Travis was like, "I'll buy the Harleys."
I am and I don't make good decisions.
Yeah.
I don't and like
Not
fucking-
something that Danny's known for.
No.
Yeah.
Like, ask anyone that knows me. It's like you just give me an inch. Give me an
That's
inch.
why Danny has me in his life. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like the grounding force to Danny.
Well, no, it's good
Which
because you're
is
sober.
Which
I
is
mean,
insane
you're a
because-
grounding force
because
for all of us.
because,
Completely
because
sober.
that's what all the rest of the people in Mike's life do for him.
Yeah.
Him on the couch over there. He's who tells me I'm being a child.
I get that. Yeah.
we all
You have to have somebody like that in your life.
we all have
No.
we all have an adult.
You
And
don't
yeah.
need to spend money on a
His-
hot air balloon hot tub.
I mean, no. You should definitely do that.
I agree. That's
should- Great
that's
idea.
how you really show you're rich.
Yep.
Or
When you
pretend
just
to
go,
be.
you go floating by.
Apparently it works.
You go floating by in a hot tub on a hot air
That's
balloon,
pretty cool.
and you're just flipping somebody
That's
off.
an episode. That's an episode.
It's an episode.
That's an episode.
We can't disclose
We
that yet,
build
though.
it. We build
It's
it.
an episode of something.
Yeah.
And we have to do it to somebody that's kind of cocky too. So
Oh,
it's
for
like
sure.
we'll just float by their penthouse window.
Yeah, Zoltan's house.
There you go.
Oh, you have an airplane. Do you have a hot air balloon hot tub?
Yeah.
In your face, Sultan.
Suck a dick.
By the way, we'd like a phone call.
Yeah.
By the way.
No, we've all got that adult in our lives. For Mike and I, both of our adults is his wife.
Yes.
She sits and tells us, yeah, she slaps
Yeah.
our wrists hard.
She's very good at it.
Yeah.
Very good at it.
Like we keep coming up with business like she keeps trying to get us to learn how to do proper business plans. And it's like that's dumb. That's dumb.
No, we just have the idea.
But yeah, we'll have
we
the
have
idea
the idea. What's the problem?
because you can keep postponing doing it if it's dumb. If we know how to do it, we'll just start taking loans out.
yeah. Just we've got tons of names we can use too.
Yep.
Endless amount of names.
Yep. Slappy Pork Swamp.
Yep, that's one of them.
That's my hotel name.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Ooh.
shouldn't say that.
Yeah. You're gonna have to bleep that one out.
Well, we have a lot of businesses too that we have in the queue, like Ming Lee's Handies and Sandies.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a sandwich shop that gives a happy ending.
You
Yeah.
just made me laugh
It's the
really
home of
awkwardly.
the $2 po' boy
I wasn't ready for
and
that.
hand job.
We're gonna do 45 seconds without the snot while he goes to pee real quick.
Congratulations. Yeah. So now it's just us.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you going from here? Because
Where am I
you're
going
you're
from here?
you're hanging out on this tour for a little bit.
Yeah. For
Then you're going on another tour, but then you're coming back to this tour.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. I kind of just jump
Just
and do
gonna wing?
whatever. I
Yeah.
do whatever I want.
I like
mean,
that.
I'm really,
like that.
I'm really fortunate. I gotta
Flexible
say
and
that. Yeah.
fortunate.
So yeah, I work in from home.
And your wife
Building
builds
guitars.
custom guitars.
Yeah, which you got the chance to play
I
on.
know. Oh my God, that was a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, it's.
There's the
I-
detail.
I don't like to tell many people this, but which is probably a really terrible decision that I'm saying it on this. But she is definitely a better guitar builder than me.
Ooh.
So yeah, that hurts my ego a little.
Yeah, but she's she's a female.
Yeah, she just.
They're meticulous. They're patient.
You know what's really funny about that is that she likes one of her. This is kind of a sidebar, but she likes to take my phone and play games and beat my high scores so that I go insane playing them nonstop until I beat her. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I'm jumping on this tour for just a couple days. I go home, gonna go do some snowboarding and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
You can do
I gotta.
snowboarding while you're here. Maybe.
Well,
I mean, I'm kind of tired.
I didn't bring a coat. So
Yeah, that's right.
It's kind of cold outside. I've been sticking to
You've
the bus.
got my coat.
Yeah, I do have your coat. Thank you for that, by the way. But no,
Get
yeah,
you a
so
sweatshirt before we leave out of here.
yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, but so yeah, I jump on tour with Theory of a Dead Man. We go do the West Coast. I think we go through L.A. and San Francisco, kind of all those areas in between, and then we go up and do a Canadian run. So I'll be
Ooh,
doing
yeah.
that. Yeah, February, Canada. It's a great idea.
Well, if you
So
stop in Calgary, I know some people there. I'll
I've
get you
heard
hooked
you
up.
do.
I'll
so
be there in 2
Yeah.
weeks.
we need. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, that's my main gist before, and I'm just waiting for this guy to get back, and then we've got some big stuff that'll be coming down the pipes that
Excellent.
we've
We
all
want
discussed
yachts.
a little.
We
Yeah,
want yachts.
yachts.
Yes,
Yucks.
I think
Yucks.
I think
Want
what
yachts.
Travis and I, he has 2 daughters. I have 3.
I have one of those
I think
too.
I think the message he sent to me was, "Bro, we have 5 years to make enough money to buy an island. That way we could get these girls away from."
You know, I may need to join you in that because I've been really scared. I've told my wife I'm not hesitant to throw a 12-year-old through a window. So
No,
I-
I mean,
need
it was inspired from something online, but where making his daughter wear shirts throughout our entire high school with a
Red
picture of
shirts.
Mike on them,
yeah,
with a picture of Mike on, and then also we decided that we've got to make enough money so that when she goes to high school, we're both going to retire and get jobs at the school.
yep,
Yeah.
We're just gonna.
absolutely. Well, she can wear different shirts, but it's gonna
Just
have,
red
it's
shirts.
gonna have her Uncle Danny on
Yeah.
it.
Red shirts. off limits.
Red shirts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Reds is
they
red-
will all
red
be
is
Yeah,
all
red.
and we'll work at the school, so it's
Yeah. So there's no getting away from it. My son is also, well, he hasn't competed in a while, but he's #1 in the state for jiu-jitsu. So
Oh wow.
I'm training him up
That's
right.
That's a proud thing, dude.
Yeah, you know, you got to put on your proud parent.
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah.
But I'm doing
My,
it the right way. If
uh,
I can't kick
My
their
daughter
butts,
knows all the lyrics to Into the Fire.
it's amazing.
yeah, sure. We were singing it earlier. We were singing it
There's
earlier.
my proud moment. you
No,
know?
that's a proud moment. She just had a solo.
I mean, it
sesh.
impresses me every time, like because there's words.
I
like,
can't even say.
I
it.
don't even understand some of the words, like
I don't know all of them.
solace. Like
she-
I don't use that word, but she knows. She knows how to say it.
I'm just here broadening people's vocabulary horizons.
Now I did. Get-
Does she know the heavy bit in the full version?
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
Well, so she calls that the scary version,
The scary bit.
but she wants the
It
scary
is scary.
version.
It is
so
scary.
she'll ask for the concert
in the video, that's why he's all scary when he's
or
doing
the
it.
concert scary version.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I was super like every time she does it, she's getting better at it, and I'm like, God, this is cool. Like,
I told her we've got to get her on the guitar next.
oh yes,
We'll get
Yeah.
her. We'll get her like a
and the
little short
piano.
scale.
I know somebody who
piano.
could get that.
Ooh,
make that
yeah.
happen for her. Yeah.
God, she would.
That's
be
something we didn't really talk about, but that's kind of how Danny and I actually originally
Yeah.
met. Was the guitar company?
Icon.
Yeah, Icon Guitars. So
all right.
we know some people.
That's
we'll
what I'm
make that
talking
happen.
about. Yeah. Well, let's talk about some Icon guitars then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Is it all custom order?
So currently we are all hand built. So it's a very long process. So we're working on production lines and getting models. Yeah. So it's a whole thing. You know, business. As soon as it turns into a business, it's like you got to do business stuff. So, but that's originally how we met. We had mutual friends, and he'd heard through the company of the guitar company, and then I went out teching with them, and kind of the rest is history. But yeah, we build custom acoustics, basses.
So have you heard of
electrics.
Stonebridge?
I have heard of it.
All right.
Yeah.
So do you respect Stonebridge?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's always. I've never
No,
touched
talk some
one.
shit, dude. Talk
Yeah,
some
I've
shit.
heard.
That's horrible. Yeah,
They're, I mean,
garbage.
they're Ukrainian.
If you have
correct?
one, just throw it in the trash.
They are from the Ukraine.
I'm not familiar where they're at,
Okay.
but I know of the brand.
Candy Rat. You know those like Andy McKee
Yeah.
and Antoine Defer, those crazy
So
acoustic guitarists that.
The classic.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know all the fun stuff
Yeah.
that I can't do. That's why I'm a guitar
Like the
builder.
real
though.
guitar players.
Yeah. But that's why I'm a guitar builder and not a guitar player. 'Cause,
Oh, so
I'm
then
awful.
if people want a guitar built by you,
yeah, we have a website. It's iconguitars.com. Yeah, you can go on that. We have social media platforms that they can message us at. Like I said, right now we're kind of in a weird phase because we're working on production lines and stuff. So we're still taking orders, but we're kind of on a pause right now
All
until
right.
everything gets fully released and stuff. Yeah,
we'll
it's all
keep
the
up to date
boring.
with Icon.
Yeah, of course.
Icon guitars.
Yeah, it's
So there'll be a big like proper
release.
big launch release
Yeah,
of in the near future.
yeah.
So another big thing is Danny and I got tasked by Travis Pastrana to do a song for the new Nitro Circus movie.
That yeah.
And
That's a
that
thing.
was
I was wa-
that was-
I was racking my brain to figure out where you were going with that for a second. I'm like,
on the New
Wait,
Year's
what did we do?
on the New Year's
do
episode.
we have to kiss?
they asked one of my top moments for 2017. I said that because I've never like really seen a professional write a song before, and I got to watch it. Like, and that was
There
really
it
cool.
is.
It's an
to
interesting.
see your methods like open my eyes because you
I'm
know,
just copying the professionals I've seen. I'm a pale
Not
imitation of.
reinventing the wheel.
Yeah,
just-
no, I listen. I lived in Nashville for the last 3 years, and moving to that before moving to that town, I'd never written a song with people outside of like writing in Asking, which is me and Ben sat, and he'll play something on guitar, and then I'll write vocals over it, which isn't. It is songwriting together, but it's not. This in the same sense as what I learned to do in Nashville, whereas this is a town of songwriters, and you go in a room with 1, 2, sometimes 3 other people, and you sit and you come up with an idea and you craft this thing together.
Yeah.
And you're not worried about drums, you're not worried about
Yeah.
anything. It's just a guitar or a piano,
melodic,
and
just
natural
like
and it's
melody and
it's writing country music. So you're writing words and you are writing melodies and you're writing a story.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is like even if they're not fans of country music, Nashville are where 90% of your favorite songs come from. Every Aerosmith hit was written by a country writer in Nashville, and then Aerosmith got it
Yeah.
and they put it in a Marshall, and then Steven Tyler sang on it. Like you dial that down, you get Kenny Chesney to sing any Aerosmith song. I don't wanna fall asleep 'cause I'll miss you, babe.
Yes.
I don't wanna miss a thing. It's a country song. It's a country song all over.
It really
Everything
is.
about it is a country song because it
Yes.
is a country. It was written by a country writer and it is a country song. But that's
Even when I dream.
all of those
you.
80s hits.
Yeah.
All those. Poison. I mean, obviously a country band. Like Bon Jovi
Obviously.
is a country band. All these people are just the country songs, and they're 9 times out of 10. In the rock world, people don't necessarily know or like to think that the songs aren't written by the artists. No,
Yeah.
a lot of the time, or at least the hits aren't. Like rock bands don't bring in people to write their album, but that one radio hit,
Yeah.
that'll be someone else wrote it, or they wrote it
15
with.
people.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, not in rock. That's in as a pop, hip hop,
Yeah.
R&B, Beyonce world.
I was looking at an I Prevail song the other day, and it was written by like 6 different people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thing is, it could be like different drama, different guitars.
Yeah.
Like,
Everybody's got to get
because
credits
when
on
you
it.
go into stuff like that, the drum parts are so integral. But like just as writing a core song, and even with Asking stuff, when we're in the studio, I don't listen to the song before we go in. The first time I hear that song will be in the studio the day I'm recording it, and I will know. I'll sit down with an acoustic and I'll figure out the chords and I write the song on the acoustic.
Wow.
Because I can't for the life of me remember who told me, but I was working with someone once and they were basically like, no matter what the end song is, if it sounds good as a singer and either an acoustic guitar or piano and
It'll
it's
always be
still good, it's a good song.
Yeah.
You can't rely.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, once you get into like Slipknot territory, it's a different story
Yeah.
because you can't sing it. But it's if you can break a song down to its absolute bare bones and it's still good, then you know it's a good song, and you're not
It's a hit.
relying on the production. You're not relying on
Yes.
everything that
The
comes
rest
in
is
afterwards.
just a little.
I am
happy
excited to hear Vultures live.
Oh.
I'm
excited
for
for you to hear
It's a
it.
great
Yes.
song.
I would play.
Because I was texting you
Listen,
about that like a couple weeks ago. I'm
I
like,
would
"Vultures, I
play
love
it for you. I would play it for you live on this thing right now. But we invented. Well, I say we. I wasn't involved. They invented the tuning for it. It's
really.
it's out of tune by every
Oh,
standard.
I remember you talking about this.
It makes no sense at all. It was basically like it started out as an open tuning, and then the chords that were being done, they were too difficult to play, so they just detuned stuff
couple strings.
until it worked.
Yeah.
So it's a really weird
It's his
tuning.
way
that
of putting a patent on it.
Yeah.
That's me.
yeah.
I mean, not me, but
No, it's
I'd love to
patented.
take credit for that. That
patented.
wasn't me, but
Hey, if you patent it before they do.
I'll work on that.
No, it's such a weird tune, but it's such a beautiful song. We wrote that back before I left. That was the song about what we were talking about earlier when they were drilling us into the ground.
Yeah.
Let's take
Yes.
time off.
Oh yeah.
And it's literally about. And the label didn't want to put it out. It was supposed to be on From Death to Destiny,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't. The label axed it because they hated it
Well,
because they knew it's partially
it's
about
about
them.
them.
yeah.
They knew it's partially.
Who's
about them.
gonna like that?
But over the years, obviously, like a lot's changed, and that was the song that got me back in, because I met with Ash, who's the head of the label, and we were just having lunch, and it was nothing to do with Asking. Obviously, I wasn't even back. There was 2 years before him had passed, and like we were talking about his new movie that came out. There was Carnival. Not that's the movie I did. American Satan.
Nice little play.
But also that too.
No, you've got another movie coming up too.
I do, but I can't say anything about it. We haven't started filming
we're,
yet.
we're not saying anything about the movie.
Yeah, we're not
But he's
not talking.
It's
about
going to be
it.
very cool.
You're doing acting though. That's,
yeah,
that's
I've,
awesome.
I've been acting for like 5-6 years now.
That's fucking
I
amazing.
love
I
it.
mean, you've been acting your whole life because we just heard your story of how you got
I know.
your gig.
Acting is just lying for paychecks. So I've
tell
Well, that
be
means
really
that,
good
No,
at-
that means this year, if we do another movie this year, obviously we
I'm
need
in
to
it.
cast you.
I'm in. I'm in. I'm in, and I'm cheaper than Shatner. So.
That's perfect. And you know, well, we're in action figures too. That's a life dream.
That's
Yes.
That's a life. Like when I was doing the name, because I'm doing the graphics for them, and I was doing the nameplates, and you know they put my name in there as a requirement. I'm like,
nice.
well, I guess I get to be in an action figure.
Yeah. That's awesome. But yeah, so we were talking about that, and then Ash was like, "That song Vultures, you remember that song?" I was like, "Yes, I remember the song." I'd lost the recording of it, and I've always thought about this song. I've never been able to figure out
It's
how
a
to play
great
it
song.
because of the weird tuning. And
Hand it over.
there you go. We can't do a Drinkin Bros podcast without some drinking.
You know it.
So he was like, "Well, listen, they're about to do a new album. How do you feel about them doing that song?" And I was basically like,
Yes.
no, because this is when it was still
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
whatever his name is.
you're right.
Um,
It's an amazing
And-
song, though.
Well,
so
no,
I
no.
guess I'd,
No, but
I'd
it-
assume
but it-
you
but it was-
hearing that again is like.
but it was such a
a good song.
personal song
Yeah.
that I was like, I
Yeah,
mean,
somebody else can't go.
I was
in
like, no, I can't let them
Yeah.
cut that. Like, how about like, because he'd kind of mentioned like maybe like you do like a guest vocal on it, like how Jesse did on Killswitch Engage before he was back in the band.
Yeah.
I think that was his end game. It was
Yeah.
like, oh, do guest vocal and then you come in.
Right.
But he knew that I'd feel this way about this song, and I was like, well, listen, maybe like, and I haven't spoken to these dudes in 3 years. It's like if they're not okay with that, maybe it's something like we just record me and Ben acoustic and it goes out as just like a one-off thing, because it is something so personal that he and I sat and wrote.
Yeah.
And, he was like, oh, no, I'll talk to him. Funny, Ben showed up at his house the next day. They live in different states.
The universe.
So that's, the universe, a.k.a. Ash's credit card.
Yeah, we knew.
Move the jack low.
Yeah, so he shows up and, he's like, we haven't seen each other in 3 years. And it was really weird.
I remember that whole process when
First.
you were going through all that.
Really weird at first, because it's like we go up and it's like this person who we've spent our entire lives with, who we've not seen or spoken to in so long, and the last time we saw each other, it was like we were about to put each other in hospital.
Not in a good way.
No,
I don't know how
not
there's
like
a good way to
not
do
in
that.
like a pregnancy way.
No.
And but it's like we missed each other because
Yeah.
you can't like at that point after that much time like
You guys
forget.
basically grew up together.
Yeah, you forget the shitty stuff, and it's just like the good
But
things.
You
And, like, it's
also
fun
have
memories.
been hyper creative together for
Yeah.
years.
Yeah, so
Like, and you come back to that,
Yeah.
you're like, I have 3 years worth of ideas and shit in my head that
Ash Ash has like half a handle of Jameson in me already. So like I'm sitting in his house and then Ben walks in.
Smart of them.
No, very smart. of him. If I was sober, like I don't fucking know what to say. And he walks in and it's like, hey, so we hug and like it's all good. We're just talking about like what they're doing, what I'm doing. It was right before The Long Road Home came out, so like it's like I'm showing him all the stuff I've been working on, and it's totally different. It's like super bluesy, which is what he used to do.
Yeah.
He was a blues guitarist, and it was such a weird dynamic. And then we sit down and we watch American Satan, the first draft of it. Well, they watch it, and I'm finishing off that handle, and I fall asleep. I literally saw about 15 minutes, and I fell asleep like in Ben's lap.
That's a cute picture, though.
It was super
It
cute.
gives everyone a really good picture.
I had like a
of that.
giant pizza and a bunch of wings I got because I was like, oh, the family's back together. No one touched it but me.
Yes.
So I fall asleep like covered in chicken wings.
And that's a normal night for you.
And
though.
then next day he leaves, and 5-6 days go by, and I get a phone call, and they're like, "How do you feel about being in the band again?"
Didn't take
that
him
was
very
the first
long.
line.
Yeah, I'm like, you can't do this.
It's a
to me."
solid start, right?
Yeah, I mean, why cut the bullshit?
Yeah.
And in my head, I was like, I'm about to come out with my first solo record. Like, I can't do that. And they're like, well, what if you just do a tour? Like, will you do it? Because we just fired this kid, and like, you know the songs, and we don't just want to fucking get some random guy, or cancel the tour.
It's hard. Yeah.
So it took me about a week to decide, and it was about 4 days before the tour started that I eventually was like, yeah, I'll do it. And it was one tour, and it turned into 2 tours. And then it was going so well, and then Ben and I was like,
Why stop a good thing?
let's do an album.
Yeah,
and I didn't know if I
but
could do
this
it
one,
anymore.
but this one is so
Good.
well.
That's the word.
Yes, it's like
It's a new territory. It's,
yes,
it's awesome.
It's almost like this is now where you
Yeah.
we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because this
is
now-
this is the next progression from
Yes.
Death to Destiny.
Yes. Like all the way through.
You see the
They-
maturity. in
I have
music.
listened to this album all the way through probably 130 times.
It's definitely one of those albums.
I
you
mean,
can
it's
do that.
it's between this and Sleeping that
and
plays in our house.
And it's because Ben and I made a point because we do everything in the studio and we write everything, and it's basically just him, I, and our producer Matt in there, and we made a point of like, all right, what is Asking Alexandria? It is like what do people see Asking Alexandria as? And there's basically like a playbook that for the last 6 years bands have been picking up and being like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and then we'll be Asking Alexandria, and we took it and we burned the fucking thing, and we were like, we're doing everything from scratch, no matter what ideas we have, we're gonna do. And Ben's all about his hip hop music. Like, I don't mind hip hop music, but like I'm not like Ben's super into it. So it's like, cool, let's get a rapper in. And it was
Yes.
it was supposed to be MGK,
Yeah.
but he's like too famous to be friends with us now.
really.
No, he's the man, but he's like really.
I just don't know why.
He's
I mean,
harder to get
this-
in touch with than Sleeping.
But honestly, like
Little.
in the business sense and in the fan sense, like look at what happened when Justin Timberlake brought Garth Brooks out on stage. Like people melted down.
you know,
Those
Garth Brooks is-
duets
you know-
and those videos.
you know,
went-
Garth Brooks is the highest selling solo artist on the planet in history,
really.
more than Elvis.
But it's
Wow, that's
it's
wild.
like it's like when you do creative things like that where you get two huge names together, it makes fans excited.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like to pair things up, like 50 Cent and you guys doing something together would explode. Like
Well, we've talked about a couple things. Again,
Yeah.
nothing.
because
There's
the
some-
mashup
there's
you
some
guys
wheels
did,
spinning.
There's
the
some wheels
mashup
spinning.
you guys did on this record was fucking awesome.
And that
that's
kid's
great.
so good, right?
He's
yes.
super good.
Well, after Kel's, because it's literally like I saw Kel's, and he's like, "Hey, what's up with this song we're supposed to be doing?" I was like, "I've sent it to you 4 times, motherfucker." And he's like, "No, just send it to me tomorrow. I'll do it." And he didn't. Which is no, it's fine. This guy is like the busiest guy on the planet, so it's fine. And so I met with Yellow Wolf, who I didn't know before.
Yes.
I knew of, but like I knew his music, but I didn't know him personally. So we met. I took him and like some of his crew out to like a great steak dinner. This place Bob's in Nashville. It's incredible. It like makes Flemings look like a bitch. And like we're all eating, we're hanging out, and like I show him the song and I'm giving him the full pitch. And he's like, yeah, look, I'm interested. We can do it. Same thing again. Like these guys are like way more famous than I think they are.
Rappers.
They're like he's then like the next day like I forget what he was doing, but he was out like doing some like real fucking shit where it's he ain't answering his fucking phone.
Yeah.
So no, but it reached a point where in the studio and I'm texting out, I'm like, listen, you don't have to come in now, but like I need you to like
but the
fucking
importance to
confirm.
me and
And then eventually we were like let's find like we could have these big guys who are going to bring something to the table for us, we bring something to the table for them, and if we can't do that, if it's going to be someone who's already on the same plane as us, we might as well find someone who like isn't known, like a new kid, and we can give something back.
Somebody
And-
who's really good.
And my ex had introduced me to this kid, and he's so good.
Yeah.
But
So good.
even as big as Yellow Wolf is, there is so much value in creating fans or customers from an entire new base.
Yeah.
Because of a partnership.
Yeah,
Like,
which was
and
the,
it's
which was the mindset of
Well,
doing.
and it's so
I mean,
overdone, too.
Kel's was initially like it's our friend. We want on that, and you know, he's fucking MGK now.
Yes.
It's
I mean,
it's
but
not just it's not just Kel's
you're
anymore.
not talking
like, it's
a couple
like,
numbers. Like you're saying, hey man, we have millions of fans too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
Right.
they're going to look at you.
but he's getting like #1 pop singles now.
But it's good
Would
though
you know-
because it's
it now doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
no, it doesn't
never
hurt. But
hurts.
that's the easy way out too.
Yeah.
You know, it's
But he's
cool to grab somebody.
He's
like
done
that.
stuff in this world. He already has this world. He already has the world we're in.
Yeah.
That's
I
where
don't.
we are.
I don't think we would bring anything new to him that he doesn't already have. I don't think anyone was going to hear
Yeah.
that song and be like, "Who's this MGK guy?"
Yeah.
I'll check it out. So like, I get from his standpoint.
But I see the
because I
same
wasn't offering him any
problem.
money
Yeah.
outside of his publishing for writing his parts. Like there wasn't any money, and I mean that's for the same token as like we weren't bringing anything to the table for him. And in the grand scheme of things, he wasn't bringing that much to us other than a couple views.
I see the same problem though.
But it would've been great.
in the
would've been great.
180 of this, like where I find somebody with talent that has no traction and try and get them to
Exactly.
do something with
Yeah.
us.
'Cause that's
and
something.
they shun us. Like, blow me
You
off.
know why? You know why?
Fucking,
you know why?
like-
Because they're little bitches.
But it's like, it's honestly, you want to be like,
Sometimes people
hey,
don't
it's
know-
easy for me to get a hold of you than it is to get you that has fucking 64 views on YouTube, but you're talented.
Yeah.
Well,
And
listen,
I'm telling
so-
you,
So
I'll
many
give
of
you a
those people get
stage.
passed over
Because
too.
people don't know what's good from. Or they're too far up their own ass to begin with, and they'll never get anywhere.
Or they don't
There's-
trust
there's-
somebody that's just like,
Well, listen,
hey,
no,
let's
no.
work.
Or
But
sometimes
you're
they just don't get it.
like you guys are easy to fucking Google and realize that you're a real thing. Like that's not
Yeah.
difficult, and you know they did it, and it's they're so far up their own ass that like they've had their mama tell them that they're gonna make it on their own this whole time, and they're just stupid and believe it.
Yeah, there was
Like,
this
no one makes it by themselves.
really good actress that was just doing stuff on YouTube, super lowbrow stuff, but she was fucking fire. And I had a bunch of ideas. And when I was in LA with Ross, tried to hit her up. She's just some random YouTuber, like and like doesn't have any traction. But I
Yeah.
was like, hey, let's get together. I want to put you on the show. I want you to talk about the skits and the sketch comedy that you're doing and bring light to that. But also, I want to talk about Cassie, and she fucking blew me off. Like, it's like, but
That's
then
wild.
3 days later,
Well, no,
a
'cause
picture
lot
on
of-
my Instagram.
A lot of those LH, those well, no, I was gonna say chicks, but that's not fair. A lot of those LA people, especially the new kids, they're like, if you're not in LA, they don't care because they think it's not real.
Yeah,
They don't realize that most of the shit in LA isn't real.
Yes.
You go out of LA, like people go to LA to make it, and then they make it, and they
And
go
then they
out,
leave.
and then
Well,
they get successful.
So
Then they
3
leave.
days go by, and we do a show with Miles Teller because he was just in those two, the firefighter movie and the Thank You for Your Service. And that picture went up on my Instagram, and then all of a sudden, up my ass. And it's like, no.
Too late.
What
Like,
about when I already gave
yeah,
you a chance?
Yeah, I literally was begging you to come do the show and come film with us. And now it's like, and
Too late.
that's
It's
LA, man.
unfortunate.
It's like,
Yeah.
People are
That
dumb.
is-
It really is.
Listen, people are stupid.
Period.
There's no more to that.
no, there's no more to that.
Just as a race, we're a stupid fucking creature.
But we're switching. You're now a Phoenix resident.
Well, no, I'm not.
Well,
I was gonna be. I was gonna
Kind
be.
of.
So I go there, and I was like in this place. I wanted to rent for a year because I don't know exactly where I want to live yet,
yeah.
and I'm new to the area. Even though I was flying out so much, I was new to the area. So I'm like, all right, I'll rent a place for a year,
Find out where I want to
do
be.
my thing, figure out where I want to be.
You're doing the smart, responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ideally, I want to buy some land and build a place,
Yes.
but I don't just want to blindly
Possibly
do
an
that.
island. Maybe.
Possibly an island.
No, I mean,
Now that we're
ideally
all
an
working
island.
together.
Ideally an island. I've always said
Possibly
that
an island.
because like I'm not a huge fan of human beings either.
No.
Like I've always.
If you got to take a boat to get to us, we're good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
retiring in Bora Bora, and just I mean, despite the French people, like gonna be
Despite
great.
the French people.
I'm English. We're literally raised to hate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I love the French. You guys are good people.
Why'd you point at me?
Don't
I'm
hate
not French.
No, I was putting the camera.
camera.
All right,
Camera.
perfect.
We don't judge you.
No, so they're making it more difficult and more difficult and more difficult to get this place, and it's in Tempe, which is a college. I mean, it's like a block away from the college.
Honestly, they're looking for a tax write-off.
They,
That's all
yeah,
it
well,
comes
they're
down
looking.
to.
They're looking for tax write-off, or I mean, another thing that's common is they just want chicks to live there because guys who are trying to get a place in that area, like frats and stuff, they don't know I'm not that,
Yeah.
or they Googled me, and they see
And they wanted no part of that.
they see the crazy shit I've done, and they're like, hell no, we're not renting a fucking
No,
house.
fuck
Look what he would do to this place.
Like, because they don't know that like I'm not.
We went through the same problem.
Yeah.
30 different properties before somebody
Yeah.
would let me sign a lease.
So
Wow.
they just kept making it more because they're not legally allowed to just say no.
Yeah.
So they're just making it more. And I
They just
picked
make
up
it
on it.
difficult.
And then I went to look at this other place, and like it was great, but at the same time, like I'm talking to a business manager, and we're starting work on the application stuff, and it was like I'll leave a door in a week and a half.
Doesn't make a
Why
whole
am
lot
I
of sense.
like for 2 months?
to have a
Like,
place that's just gonna sit there?
by the time this gets approved and I move my stuff in, I'll have just enough time to set it up and leave and pay for empty walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I called my real estate agent. I was like, dope. We'll get a place in March when I get back. We'll start looking on the show in Tempe. I'll take the day off,
Salt Lake.
and I'll.
Start looking at Salt Lake now.
I've been outside at this
Yeah,
time of year.
it's pretty cool.
I've been outside at this
Might
time
have to
of
do
year.
like a split residency.
That's
or
what I
something
mean.
Like
I
that.
think I'm
And for
gonna
tax
move
purposes.
into a bigger
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, for tax purposes.
Now that we're not leaving, so I mean.
Oh, you're not leaving now?
No, we're not.
I hadn't
So
heard
we're-
that progression.
This just happened 2 days ago.
Breaking news. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Weird.
Or is it because you can get more here than Dallas?
No, it's just
Because you were gonna go to Dallas.
Yes, we're gonna go to Dallas.
My old
That
hometown.
changed to Austin, and now we're not leaving
Don't go to
because
Austin. Don't
there's
go to
just
Austin.
too much.
Hipsters.
There's too much to do, and we can't pause for 2 months.
No,
Yeah.
that's
To
that-
move.
That makes
That's
So
hard
it's
to-
just
that's
like,
hard to do.
let's stay here.
Yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look for a little bit bigger place.
Well, but here's the upside. So now I looked at my touring schedule and I was like, all right. So I look at place halfway through March when I get back, and then I'm like, wait, then I'm going to Japan. I'm doing USO stuff, and then I'm like, well, okay, when I get back from there, I'm like, then I've got 2.5 weeks and I'm back on
What
tour
month
again.
are you going to Japan with the USO?
What?
That's coming up here pretty soon.
That's
right?
March 22nd.
Yeah. Well, let's go. I think I might be going. Let's go together,
I'll
man.
call the USO. We're supposed to be in Hawaii on the 24th.
Come on, we
I think.
we can make stuff happen.
I mean, we
It's
we-
only
we're
like a
there for- we're there for
17-hour flight.
five
No,
or
that just
something.
means I can roll from Hawaii and meet
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think with
You know, those are my
we're
old
there 4 or
stomping
5
grounds.
days.
Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Mike's whole spot.
I was
Oh, hell
stationed
yeah.
at Camp Hansen on
Well, shit.
Okinawa.
Well, I want to be on another USO thing. So AFE
They're
or
great.
USO. Yeah, I love them.
They're great. So if you're listening, USO, yeah.
Yeah, USO.
Well,
need-
no,
we
no.
need
This
it.
this is
Plane
so this
tickets.
is as asking. This is our first time doing it.
Oh, you guys
No,
are
it's, I mean,
full band.
Harlot's done stuff,
Yeah.
but asking we've never had it, and it's literally the phone call we've been waiting for
Oh
for
shit!
It's
almost our
amazing.
entire
I
career.
want in on this. I want
So-
to. I want to MC it.
So here's something a lot of people don't know. Since I was 6 years old, I was gonna be a Marine sniper. That's what I was gonna do, and it was dead set. And it was my godfather who was ex-military, and the second I said it, like the next day, show up at my house, 6 a.m. He's got a backpack full of sand on my back. I'm running 6 miles a day, and he's like, if you want to
You
go in,
want it, you got to get it.
if you're going in, you're going in as the best.
Well,
So like from 6,
at least he knows.
from 6, I was training every single day, and until getting that thing of, all right, I'm in Asking now, and we're going to America. Up until that day,
Yeah.
it was, even though I was in college doing music, it was like, that's what I'm doing.
Oh wow.
I'm getting out of college and I'm gonna go in the military, because that's what I always wanted to do. And if it wasn't for the record contract, that's what I would have done anyway.
Yeah, right? This pesky thing came around called a contract.
Yeah.
Ah,
Ah,
poor me.
let me grind my teeth on that one.
But yeah, that's what I wanted to be doing. So even while touring, like any opportunity we've had to do
outdoor
anything
stuff.
with the troops is always something.
This is,
so
that's done.
and this
awesome,
is
too.
why we're all in the same room. Right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. It all just
This
makes
is
sense,
why-
man.
Art 15 and Black Rifle and Lead Slingers will continue to be full supporters of Asking.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go.
you guys
USO.
are too sweet.
So
It really is
The
great.
new
You don't even have to. I'm buying it all anyway.
Yeah.
the new record is out.
It
It's
is.
self-titled album.
It was
Asking-
number 1 for 3 weeks.
Oh,
Not anymore. Five
shit.
finger number 1 now.
Hey, well,
But
Drinkin
they your
Bros.
boys too.
If you have not picked this up yet, the whole album is amazing. Alone in a
killer.
Room, huge favorite. Vultures, huge favorite.
Under Denver.
Under
Denver's a
Denver,
great
huge
one.
favorite.
Rise Up is now
Rise
the new
Up.
Rise Up.
NFL song.
It's so great.
Into the Fire acoustic. Like, come on. This album is amazing.
All of it.
So you didn't get, you haven't had a physical copy yet?
No.
Oh.
Caitlin has
No,
it.
no. So did you hear the bonus song?
No.
Oh, you've messed up, man.
There's a song called Explicit, which
Oh!
It is really good.
There's another song that I haven't heard.
which is
We're gonna have
only
to,
available on the physical, and it's a full-on shit-talking song.
It is.
I'm
pretty
not gonna give
amazing.
too much away, so you guys need to go get that.
Yeah, you have
It's
to get
only
you have to get the physical copy.
it's only available on the physical, which
Oh.
I would recommend getting from alexandriaplace.co.
Yes.
which
dot
is
co.
.co,
Dot
which is also
Alexandria Place.
all of our official merches, and then also all our VIP stuff is there for sure.
If you want him on Instagram, it's Snoptropolis.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna call the island I eventually.
And
end up
then
on.
at
It'll be right next to
Asking
your guys'
Alexandria. Yes, we'll just have a whole
No,
slew of islands.
I will pay to have our islands close enough together. We'll have like a one
zip
walkway.
line.
I can't. Even
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say a
that's so
walkway.
amazing.
It's a
The zip
double
line.
zip line.
Or a go-kart track
line
that goes in between. One go-kart
Yes,
track
that
I
has
wish
a
I
loop.
Could, I wish
Yeah.
I could say that. What's it? Archipelago? I don't know how you
Archipelago?
say it. Yeah, there you go. See,
Archipelago? Yeah, something like that.
we'll
So
just have our own.
Asking Alexandria on Facebook and Instagram, alexandriaplace.co if you're going to get the
Yep.
bonus stuff and
And all the merch.
the merch. The merch
is all there.
Yep. is
We're
more
the only
just
with-
as
with
if
the
not
only-
more comfortable than Art 15 stuff.
It's like wearing an orgasm.
You heard it from here, folks. Wearing an orgasm.
Yeah. And then also iconguitars.com.
Yep, it's icon. It's we have to specify the spelling a little. It's
Yeah.
EIKON.
Oh,
it's
E-I-K.
you know, it's one of those fancy things. It's the Greek spelling.
Yeah.
So, icon.
And then your Instagram.
My Instagram is MD Milioni. It's Milioni.
Nice.
MD
It's-
Milioni.
We basically post the same pictures. It's just
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
It's just us two looking cute
It's
and
just
shooting
us.
stuff.
It's just us being friends.
And if you haven't
and-
seen that new music video for Into the Fire Acoustic, Google that on YouTube, Into
it.
the Fire Acoustic.
We got some Article 15 in.
Yes.
yeah, it is in there.
Mr. Danny was
All over the
kind
place.
enough. I about fucking passed out at my house when he showed me that music. Like, wait, this is a music video?
Oh
going
my
on? What the
gosh.
fuck?
Oh my gosh.
I ain't gonna lie. Like so I did this one move for a minute, and it's a little sleazy, but it's also like because you know on like Tinder and stuff like you can't just be like I'm famous. It's like you start talking to them. Well, you can. I mean,
Yeah.
you can.
You can.
I don't think
No,
there's
no.
any rules.
No. So then I like accidentally sent
Mm.
chicks like links to the video. I was like, oh, sorry.
Sorry, that
that's
was
for
for
my
my
producer.
producer. See, I knew right where we're two peas in a pod, so I already know what he's thinking.
Oh, that was bad.
Oh, man.
No, it worked out great, but she was like, oh my god, you know the Article 15 guys? Can you introduce me?
What the fuck?
Yeah. The attention got taken away from Danny. Wait, you know these guys?
Well, that's awesome.
Gave him some street cred, man.
See, whereas I fail at that when they ask me what I do, I just say comedian, and then they assume I'm really poor.
Yeah, no. Hey, no.
great, though.
No. Listen, no, because that's good. Because then you know they're not fucking you for the money. Not like
Yeah.
you're gonna give it to them anyway.
Yeah. But I mean,
But they work harder if they're not.
still, they just kind of treat you like shit
Yeah.
for a little while.
they work harder if they're not. Well, no, it's a double-edged sword. Because it's like if they think you're poor, they're like, all right, suck the shit out of his dick, and then like he's gonna do anything I want. Or it's like, all right, he's rich. I'm gonna suck the shit out of his dick, and then get a ring, and then get some fucking.
Fuck it.
I'm gonna get half of it. So you
Uh,
don't tell him that. Never tell him that.
No, not at all.
Oh no! Or you actively tell him like, hey.
Just looking for someone to split this with.
Yeah. No, just looking to split someone with this. Because of your penis.
Yeah. All right. So the tour lasts from now until when?
Until March 2nd.
Yes.
I would tell you all the dates, but A, that's boring, and B, they're online. Go to
Yes.
alexandria.com/tour, and you can see them.
You Drinkin Bros better be at these, and you better be yelling Drinkin Bros shit to him on stage
Yeah.
too.
Hey, listen. If you have a sign with Drinkin Bros shit, I'll give you a free T-shirt.
If you show up to an
you're
Asking
gonna get-
Alexandria concert with
don't-
a sign,
Listen, don't tell all your fucking friends who are not a part of this and ruin it.
Yeah, that'd be the
Because-
worst.
It's just
That'll-
you.
that'll get
Because
us shut down.
if you ruin it, it ruins it for everyone else.
Everybody.
But I'll give my merch guys strict instructions that if you show up with a Drinkin Bros shirt, you know what? No. If I start getting all this free shit, I'm gonna get in trouble. You get 50% off if you come.
there
in
you go.
Perfect.
if you
50%
come
off.
Drinkin Bros.
And probably some sort of attention on the microphone if you're screaming with the sign.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
like,
you will call
like-
them out.
Like there's
you have to let it be known.
there is 0 punch in the show. I'm like, let's start a band. You guys are crazy. That's not what we do. We do stand-up comedy, and you can be involved.
All right, you heard it here. Thanks, guys. This episode has been great.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Danny. We are out of here.